Something that's really powerful for anxiety is oxytocin. Oxytocin is a chemical in the brain. It's known as the bonding chemical because it's released when we feel close to our important people. It's released through safe touch, through hugging. Now, the reason oxytocin is so powerful for anxiety is because the amygdala, which is the seat of anxiety, it's responsible for that neurochemical surge that gets a body ready for fight and flight and anxiety. The amygdala has receptors for oxytocin. When the amygdala receives a big juicy dose of oxytocin, it will calm and anxiety will soften. So it's gorgeous. We want oxytocin. Now, a really powerful skill or strategy is to be able to release oxytocin in ourselves. A way to do this is with a method called hand on heart. What that involves is putting your hand on your heart and taking strong, steady breaths. And as you breathe, imagine yourself breathing into your heart center. Now, what that does is there are actually neurons in your heart which help to activate the release of oxytocin. And that will get the parasympathetic nervous system doing its job and starting to calm our body when we're feeling anxious. As well as this, we also use breath, strong, steady breath. And the reason breath is so powerful in anxiety, it's two things. One is when your belly expands during a strong, steady breath, it activates a nerve called the vagus nerve. Now, the vagus nerve is a really powerful nerve. It extends from the brainstem through the body, touches the heart along the way through to the belly. When the vagus nerve is activated, it sends messages back to the brain, which triggers something called the relaxation response. Now, the relaxation response is hardwired into us, so we don't even need to believe it'll work, it'll just work. But unlike the fight or flight response, we need to switch it on, and we can switch it on through strong, steady breathing. When the relaxation response is activated, blood pressure will start to drop, heart rate will drop, and importantly for anxiety, that neurochemical surge which rushes through our body to get us ready for fight or flight, which is where anxiety comes from, that neurochemical surge will start to neutralize. Brain waves will start to go to a pattern which is more consistent with a relaxed state. So we want that. We want to be able to activate the relaxation response. And we can do that by expanding our belly during strong, steady breathing. Now, the other great thing about breathing is when we're focusing on breath, we are in the moment, we are in the present. Anxiety is a brain that's been hauled into the future, and that is not a safe place. Brains don't feel safe in the future because we can't control anything, we can't do anything there. Brains feel safest in the present. So when we're focusing on strong, steady breath, we are in the present and our brain is safe. So just let me show you this strategy. This is something you can do when you're starting to feel anxious. And this is really important if we're trying to calm kids or teens or anyone else in our lives as well as ourselves. Anxiety or calm often starts with us when we're looking after kids and teens and trying to help them feel calm. We can catch anxiety, but we can also catch calm. So it often starts with us. So what this strategy looks like, if you can put your hand on your heart, take a strong, deep, steady breath in for 3, let your belly expand, pause, and release for 3. As you do that, imagine breathing into your heart center and just keep going through that. 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a couple of minutes, as long as you can. Breathe in for 3, hold, release. Hold, release. If you can do that to yourself, with yourself, that's a way to self-support during anxiety with the release of oxytocin. If you can teach it to your kids and teens, little kids can learn this strategy. If you can, get them to practice it a few times. What we want to do is set up a neural pathway. We want to set up a pathway in the brain so it's easier for the brain to access this strategy when it's anxious. During anxiety, the brain is really busy. It's laser focused on doing what it needs to do to keep us safe, so there's not a lot of room left for anything that is unfamiliar. So we make it familiar by doing it over and over and over. So if you can get your kids to do it a few times before they go to sleep, when they wake up, it doesn't just have to happen when they're feeling anxious. It's just a beautiful way to find calm anytime during the day. If they can practice it a few times, it will set it up as a response that they can access when they're feeling anxious, as a way to bring themselves back to calm.